Good morning, students. Welcome to your geography class. I hope all of you are well. As you all know, we are continuing the chapter 4, agriculture, and we already discussed some topics from this chapter. Today we will start from tea cultivation. Okay, so tea cultivation is an example of plantation agriculture. As you all know, plantation agriculture means in a large area when we are going to cultivate a single crop. A single crop will be dedicated for a large number of area, that is known as plantation agriculture. So tea is an example of plantation agriculture, because if you ever visited tea gardens, you have seen that whole area is only having tea plants. Now, so these tea plants are very much important. As you know, tea, coffee, these are the most famous beverage crop all around the world, and Indian tea is having a great name around the world because of its taste and smell. Okay, Indian tea is very famous. So Britishers initially introduced this tea cultivation in India during colonial period, and still we are continuing this tea cultivation. Most of the companies, big companies, they have invested in this cultivation. So what are the climatic conditions required for tea plantation? Now, first of all, tea is an tropical and subtropical climate plant. Okay, so tea can be produced in tropical climate as well as in subtropical climate. But for tea, we require specifically fertile, well drained soil. Now, most of the crops required fertile soil, that is common. But why tea plantation required well drained soil? Now, in tea plantation area, or tea plant basically required a huge amount of rainfall or water flow. A good amount of water distribution required in tea plantation, but that water should not clog the soil. That water should not made the soil muddy. Okay, so the water flow of the water or rainfall should go down. Okay, or moved down. That's why most of the tea plantation we have in foothills areas of mountains or in slopy areas of hilly region and mountain regions, because here we are going to have a proper flow of the water, as well as we are going, what will happen, now the flow will go down as it we are going to have the slope. So this is the first of all about the soil and of course physical feature. So it means tea plantation required the slopy area. We can't plant tea plant in a plain region. We require to have a slopy region. Okay. Now next thing, now tea bushes required warm and moist free climate. So it means the climate should be bright, but it should be moist free. No high humidity. The humidity should be moderate to low, not high humidity. If there is high humidity, it will destroy the leaves. So tea leaves basically required bright sunshine with moderate to low humid, as well as frequent showers evenly distributed over the year ensures continuous growth of the tender leaves. So as I just said, now tea plants required a huge amount of water, and that is only possible by rainfall. So evenly distribution of water flow or rainfall required in tea plantation to make tender leaves. Now tea is a labor intensive industry. Yes, of course. Now we require to take care of the tea plants. Okay, we need to check them, we need to observe them, we need to plug them, and of course then we need to process them. So there is a huge process, there are so many steps required to have in tea plantation. So yes, of course, tea plantation is a labor intensive industry where we require abundant, cheap and skilled labor. We require a good number of skilled labor, and of course they should be cheap. Okay, so the companies are going to have a good profit. That's why it required abundant, cheap, and most importantly skilled labor. Okay, those who are plugging the leaves, they are very much skilled. Those who are processing these tea leaves, they are also very much skilled. They know their work. Okay, so labors are also very important in this tea plantation. Tea is processed within the tea garden to restore its freshness. Now, within the tea gardens only we have the tea factories or tea plant processing factories. Why? Now, if tea gardens and tea factories where we are going to process it, if they are far from each other, it will harm the freshness. It will harm the freshness of the leaves. So it's better that within the tea gardens only we are going to have the tea factories where we are going to process the tea leaves. Okay, so major tea producing states of India are like Assam. First of all, this is the largest tea producing states. Then we have the hilly regions of Darjeeling, Jalpaiguri district of West Bengal. It means the northern part of West Bengal. Then we have Tamil Nadu and Kerala. So these are the states of India where we are having the major production of tea. First of all, Assam, this is the largest one. Then we have West Bengal, and then we have Tamil Nadu and Kerala. But apart from these states, we also have Himachal Pradesh, Uttaranchal, Meghalaya, Andhra Pradesh and Tripura. As we know, in these places, in these states as well, we have some slopy region. Okay, so in the slopy areas of foothills areas, we are having the tea plantation. Not only in Assam, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Kerala, we also have Himachal Pradesh, Uttaranchal, Meghalaya, Andhra Pradesh and Tripura. Okay, so these are some tea producing states in India. Now, India is the leading producer as well as the exporter of tea in the whole world. Beginning of this topic only I said, now the first tea cultivation was started by the Britishers in India, but Indian tea is very much famous. Indian tea is very much famous around the world, and India is the largest producer as well as the exporter of these tea around the world. Okay, so this is all about the tea. Next, as you can see, we have coffee. Coffee is the next very famous beverage crop around the world, of course. So India produces about 4% of the world's coffee production. So world coffee production wise, in India we produce 4%. Indian coffee is in the world for its good quality. Okay, so Indian coffee is very famous or well known in the whole world for its good quality. The Arabica. Now, what type of basically variety of coffee beans we are having in India? Now, it's basically Arabica variety initially brought from Yemen. So Arabica variety of coffee we produce it in India, which is coming from Yemen. Okay, and this variety in great demand all around the world. Okay, this variety of Arabica coffee around the world is having a great demand. So in India we produces this. Okay, so not only produces as well as like tea, we also export. Okay, so initially, the cultivation of coffee as well as was introduced on the Baba Budan Hills. Basically, coffee production was started in the southern part of India. It was first or initially stage it was started on the Baba Budan Hills, and even still today we are cultivating this coffee to the Nilgiri in Karnataka, Kerala and in Tamil Nadu. So parts of Kerala, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu where we have the slopy region, hilly region and of course the proper climate, a tropical climate which required for coffee cultivation. In these states we have, so we are producing coffee over here. As you have seen, there are so many states where we are producing tea, but there are some specific states of India where we are producing coffee, and this coffee is basically Arabica variety coffee which we brought from Yemen. Okay, so we discussed the two very famous beverage crop in India, and as I said, now not only India produces the largest amount of these two beverage crop, India export a lot of this beverage crop as well. Now next important crop is horticulture crop. So what is horticulture crop? Now horticulture means the cultivation of fruits and vegetables. Okay, cultivation of fruits and vegetables is known as horticulture, and due to variety of climate, due to variety in physical features as well, in India we produces a huge amount of horticulture crop, like different types of vegetables season wise, fruit as well as season wise, area wise we produce. Okay, so India is a producer of tropical as well as temperate fruits. Mangoes, as we know, mangoes are very famous in our country and around the world. So mangoes we produce in Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and in West Bengal. So from these states we produce the maximum amount of mango. Not only produce, we also export as well. Then we have Uttar Pradesh, then we have oranges from Nagpur and Cherrapunji, bananas from Kerala, Mizoram, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu, lychee and guava from Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, pineapples from Meghalaya, grapes of Andhra Pradesh and Maharashtra, apples, pears, apricots and walnuts of Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh are in great demand. So as you can see clearly, in different states of India we are having a variety of fruits. Okay, not only there are some fruits mentioned only here, not only these fruits, more than this also we produce more different varieties of fruits. In India we have watermelon, we have strawberries. Okay, there is varieties of fruits as well as vegetables we produce it because we have different type of climate, tropical and temperate and subtropical. We also have the different type of physical features. Okay, now India produces about 13% of the world's vegetable. So 13% of the world's vegetable, due to the same reason in India we produces, okay, due to different climate and due to physical feature. Now it is an important, India is an important producer of pea, cauliflower, onion, cabbage, tomato, brinjal and potato. So these are very common vegetables that we all know and we have all eaten that. So these are some very common specific vegetables, of course we produce in India and we are using it on daily basis. But not only these only, we also produce more than this. Okay, so in India, India is the home of variety kind of fruits and vegetables because we have a great demand, we have the climate as well as we have the different types of topography. Okay, so we discussed two beverage crop and the horticulture crop. Now we are going to discuss about the non-food crops items. So in the non-food items or crops category, first we have rubber. So what is this? Now, it is an equatorial crop, but under special condition it is also grown in tropical and subtropical areas. Okay, so rubber is specifically equatorial crop where huge temperature, huge rainfall required, but within circumstances, okay, within the help of new technology as well, we can produce rubber as a tropical and subtropical crop. It requires moist and humid climate with rainfall of more than 200 centimeter and temperature about 25 degrees centigrade. So we required both the things in the higher side. Like we temperature required more than 25 degrees centigrade. It means tropical basically, and of course we required huge temperature which is more than 200 centimeter. So temperature is high, rainfall is high, humidity is also high. So these are some specific climatic conditions required for rubber cultivation. Now rubber is an important industrial raw material. It is mainly grown in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andaman Nicobar Island, Garo Hills of Meghalaya. Okay, so as you can see, there are very specific states of India where we have more than 200 centimeter of rainfall as well as we have more than 25 degrees centigrade of temperature. In these places only we can produce rubber. Like Kerala, we have here the Western Ghat, and as you know in Western Ghat during monsoon we have a great rainfall. Tamil Nadu where we have 2 times of rainfall. Karnataka again it belongs to Western Ghat only. Then of course Andaman Nicobar. Now Andaman Nicobar as well is having a great amount of rainfall. First when monsoon enters and second time when monsoon goes back. So then we have Garo Hills of Meghalaya. As you know, in Meghalaya we have the world highest rainfall region. It is the highest rainfall region of the world. So in these places basically where we have a great rainfall with temperature almost above than 25 degrees centigrade, it's possible to produce rubber. Now India ranks 5th among the world's natural rubber producer. Okay, so because in India we have proper tropical climate where we can produce rubber, so in India India ranks 5th among the world's total natural rubber producers. As you can see, in different industries we require rubber. Okay, we require a huge production of rubber. Why? Because as you can see their use in this pie chart. Now you can see now auto tires and tubes, it means automobile industry, it required 44.5% rubber use. Then we have dipped goods, then we have latex foam, then we have belts, footwears, camelback, for cycle tires. For so many reasons we need to use rubber. Okay, and that's why in India we have a good production of rubber in category of non-food crops item. Now next non-food crop item is fiber crops, as you can see. So what are the fiber crops produced in India? It is cotton, jute, hemp, natural silk are 4 major fiber crops grown in India. Okay, so these are some fiber crops that we produce in our country. And as you know, cotton is not very much new for us. From ancient time we produces cotton. We have the best quality of cotton, that's why so many traders they came here only to have this type of good quality of cotton. So the first 3 are derived from the crops. Yes, of course, cotton, jute and hemp, these are basically belongs to crops category. Other than this, like natural silk, this does not belongs to the crops category. So this natural silk are obtained from cocoons of silkworm. Okay, so the process of making silk is not same like processing of cotton and all, because cotton, hemp and jute, these are crops, but natural silk is not a crop. How we are making silk? Now it obtained from the cocoons of silkworms, feed of green leaves. Okay, fed in green leaves, especially mulberry. Okay, so mulberry types of silkworms, and we are rearing silk. Okay, so rearing of silkworms for the production of silk fiber is known as sericulture. So this process is not known as agriculture, this is known as sericulture. So rearing of silk from the cocoons of silkworm which fed on green leaves, especially mulberry. So rearing of silkworms for the production of silk is known as sericulture. Okay, now we'll start the cotton. As you know, India is believed the original home of cotton plant. Okay, this is a belief that because from ancient time only India started producing cotton, so people believe that India is the original home for production of cotton plant, and cotton is one of the main raw material for cotton textile industry. As yes, of course, cotton, not only we produces cotton and we use here, we also export a huge amount of cotton around the world. So cotton basically is required in the cotton textile industry, and India is the 3rd largest producer of natural cotton in the world. Cotton grows well in the drier parts of the black cotton soil of the Deccan Plateau. So India is the 3rd largest producer of cotton around the world. Now what type of climate basically required for cotton? That we all know, black soil is the most suitable soil for cotton production, right? So basically this type of black soil we found in the Deccan Plateau region. So what type of climate we have in this Deccan Plateau region? As you know, it is very much dry. So it require, the cotton production required high temperature, light rainfall or irrigation. So as you have seen, rubber required high temperature, high rainfall, but for cotton required high temperature. As you know, the climatic condition of the Deccan Plateau region, here we had the high temperature but low rainfall or sometimes irrigation, and most importantly 210 frost free days and bright sunshine for its growth. Okay, so so 365 days we have. Out of the 365 days, 210 days frost free days required. Okay, so there should not any humidity, okay, or humidity should be very much low. Okay, so frost free days required for cotton, bright sunshine for its good growth. So it is a kharif crop and requires 6 to 8 months to mature. So cotton is a time taking plant. Now 6 to 8 months required for its maturity. Now the major cotton producing states of India are like Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu. Now within, as you know, within the help of modern technology in Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh as well, we also produces cotton. Okay, but cotton basically or mostly belongs to the Deccan Plateau region, which includes Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. But now within the help of modern technology, we also produce cotton in Punjab, Haryana as well as in Uttar Pradesh. Okay, now next fiber crop that we have is jute. Now as you all know, jute is a biodegradable product, and in a before plastics or before synthetic fiber, basically people used to have this jute. Okay, so it is known as golden fiber due to its color. Okay, due to the color of the jute, it is known as golden fiber. Jute grows well on well drained fertile soil. So jute requires a well drained fertile soil in the floodplain area. So where we produces jute, now in the floodplain area where we every single year we have the khadar, new alluvial soil or khadar soil. Okay, so for jute it requires high temperature during the time of growth. Of course, during time of growth it required to have good amount of temperature, which is almost more than 25-27 degrees centigrade, a good amount of rainfall. As you know, jute belongs to the floodplain area, so we required to have a good amount of rainfall. Okay, we required to have the fertile soil and of course the flow of the rivers, okay, if possible. So high temperature required during the time of growth. Now in which states basically we have the jute? First of all, West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, Odisha, Meghalaya. These are the places where we have the majority production of jute. First is West Bengal. West Bengal is the largest producer of jute. Okay, before partition, basically this Bengal, Bangladesh and West Bengal together, this was the area where we have the largest production of jute. But now after partition, West Bengal basically we have the huge production of jute. Then we have Bihar, Assam, Odisha and Meghalaya as well. Now this jute used in making gunny bags, mats, ropes, yarn, carpets and other artifacts as well. Okay, you know there's huge use of jutes. Okay, before synthetic fiber, people used to have this jute for different reason. So, and this is of course a good thing because this is biodegradable, it is eco-friendly specifically. Okay, now due to high cost of production, it's losing its market to the synthetic fiber. Now compared to synthetic fibers, jute is losing its market value. Why? Because the production cost is becoming high, so price rate is also becoming high. So instead of synthetic fiber, it's losing its market value. So and nowadays people are using synthetic fibers for packaging materials, particularly nylon. So when in the market nowadays we have this type of products which is not that much costly and people don't need to pay a lot. So now there is a competition between jute and other fibers. So that's why jute is losing its market value and the production cost is increasing more and more. Okay, so we of course we have some government schemes to help out these things. Okay, so today we discussed the beverage crops, horticulture crops and of course the non-food crops that we produce in India. Okay, we discussed about their climatic condition, their temperature, what is their purpose to use. We discussed all these things. Okay, hopefully this video helps you to understand today's topic. Thank you students, thank you for watching today's video, and we will discuss rest part of this chapter in your next class. Thank you everyone, thank you for watching for today's video.